traveling for the first time is exciting. New cultures, historic landmarks, and yes, all the pasta and croissants you can eat. But if you're a US traveler crossing the pond, there are some lesser known pitfalls that can turn your trip upside down. In this video, we'll count down 10 common mistakes first-time travelers make in Europe that can negatively affect your trip. Mistake 1, skipping the boring paperwork, passport, and visa rules. Let's start with the unsexy stuff. Paperwork. Imagine you've planned your whole trip, bags packed. You're at the airport check-in and the agent gives you that look. Sorry, your passport is expired or doesn't have enough validity. Rookie mistake. Many first-timers don't realize how strict passport rules can be. A small oversight, like an almost expired passport, can end your trip before it begins. Most European countries require your US passport to be valid for several months beyond your trip. In fact, many European nations, including the Schengen zone, require at least 3 to 6 months of validity on your passport. If you arrive with a passport expiring sooner, airlines can deny you boarding or border officers can send you straight home. Ouch. Additionally, starting in 2025, there are new entry requirements. For example, the UK now requires an ETA, Electronic Travel Authorization, for short visits as of January 2025. What to do instead? Double check your documents well in advance. Make sure your passport won't expire within at least 6 months after your trip. This buffers you for almost all European countries' rules. If it's due to expire, renew it before you go. And always keep a copy of your passport separate from the real one, just in case it gets lost. A little boring paperwork at home can save you from vacation-ending headaches abroad. Mistake 2, packing everything and the kitchen sink. Overpacking. New travelers often pack as if they're heading to Mars for a year. 5 pairs of shoes, full-size shampoos, a coat for every occasion, you name it. Overpacking is a classic rookie mistake, especially for Americans used to big cars and bigger luggage carts. Overpacking means bringing way more stuff than you'll realistically use. Sure, it feels comforting to have options, but you'll quickly regret hauling that oversized bag. Many budget airlines have strict baggage limits, and the carry-on size you get away with in the US might not meet Ryanair or EasyJet's rules, leading to hefty fees at the gate. Statistics show about 72% of travelers admit to overpacking, and 40% end up with clothes they never even wore. All that extra weight will slow you down, cost you more in baggage fees or back pain, and leave less room for souvenirs. What to do instead? Pack light and smart. Lay out what you think you need, then try to remove at least a third. Aim for versatile clothing you can mix and match rather than unique outfits for each day. Use packing cubes to organize and compress. Bring comfortable walking shoes, 1 to 2 pairs, rather than every pair you own. And carry a compact travel adapter or 2. Trust us, future you and your shoulders will thank you when you're zipping through a train station with a light bag instead of an overstuffed beast. Mistake 3, money mishaps, poor currency, and credit card prep. Money mistakes are common for first-timers abroad, and they can cost you big. Americans going to Europe often mess up on handling money abroad. One mistake is exchanging too much cash at expensive places like airport kiosks or hotels. These places give awful exchange rates and high fees. Another is relying only on a debit or credit card without informing your bank, resulting in your card getting frozen for suspicious foreign activity right when you need it, or using the wrong card and racking up foreign transaction fees on every purchase. And then there's dynamic currency conversion, when a shop offers to charge your card in USD instead of local currency. It sounds convenient, but usually hides a worse exchange rate. Politely decline and pay in euros or pounds to get your bank's rate. Conversely, carrying huge amounts of cash is risky due to pickpockets. Balance is key. What to do instead? Before your trip, notify your bank and credit card company that you'll be traveling overseas. Many banks let you set a travel notice online, or your card might have travel mode. Use a credit card with no foreign transaction fees for most purchases. For local currency, avoid airport exchanges. Instead, use a local ATM to withdraw cash in local currency. Carry a mix, perhaps $100 worth of euros or pounds, etc., for immediate needs, and use cards for larger payments. Lastly, have a backup card or some emergency cash separate from your wallet in case one gets lost or blocked. Mistake 4, roaming rampage, ignoring your phone plan. It's your first day abroad and you can't wait to post that Instagram story until you get a text from your US carrier. You've used 100 megabytes of data. International roaming charge, $50. What? Your phone plan likely does not include cheap international data by default, unless you have a special plan. If you just land in another country and start using using data like at home, you might incur roaming fees that pile up fast. Stories of 500+ roaming bills are not uncommon. Another issue: if your phone is not unlocked for international use, you can't use a local SIM card. Searching desperately for Wi-Fi for everything can be frustrating and unsafe. The good news: technology has shifted. eSIMs now let travelers get affordable local data instantly without swapping physical SIMs. In fact, data via travel eSIM packages can be 35% cheaper per gigabyte than the standard roaming rate. Not planning your phone situation can leave you disconnected or paying a fortune. What to do instead? Plan your phone usage before you go. First, check with your carrier what international options you have, a flat daily fee, an international plan, etc. Sometimes carriers have reasonably priced plans for a short trip. If those are too pricey, consider buying a local SIM or eSIM. If your phone is locked, common if you're on device payment plans, ask your carrier if they'll temporarily unlock it for travel, or rely on their travel plan. Also, download important info while on Wi-Fi, offline Google Maps for the cities you'll visit, and any translation apps or travel guides. Mistake 5. Assuming it's just like home. Cultural oversights. You walk into a restaurant in Barcelona, sit down and wait, and wonder why the waiter hasn't brought the check yet. Eventually, you realize in Europe, the waiter won't rush you. You have to ask for the bill, or you enthusiastically tip 20% on your $100 dinner in Rome, not knowing service was already included, essentially over-tipping. Oops, these little cultural nuances can trip up some travelers. Every country has its own customs, etiquette, and way of life. If you assume everything works like it does at home, you might find yourself frustrated or even unintentionally rude. What to do instead? Embrace the differences. Do a bit of homework on basic etiquette for the countries you're visiting. Learning a few key phrases in the local language, even just hello, thank you, or excuse me, do you speak English, will go a long way. Observe what locals do. If people are quietly riding the train, maybe keep your voice down. When you enter a store or restaurant in Europe, it's polite to greet the staff. It sets a friendly tone. Check if a service charge is included in your restaurant bill. If yes, a small extra tip is plenty. If not, around 10% is usually appreciated but not obligatory. Be aware of dress codes for religious sites. Have a scarf or wear modest attire when visiting churches, for example. In short, expect things to be different and roll with it. That's the whole point of travel. Mistake 6. The see-it-all blitz. Overscheduling your trip. 10 countries in 10 days? Challenge accepted, said no experienced traveler ever. Yet first-timers often try to cram too much into one trip. If your itinerary looks like a frantic scavenger hunt, Paris today, London tomorrow, Rome the day after, you're in for exhaustion and disappointment. Americans are especially prone to this in Europe. Everything is so close together. We can just hop around. The truth, while European countries are smaller and closer than US states, the travel time and logistics still eat up hours or more. Constantly catching trains, flights, or driving long hours every day will wear you out. Plus, jet lag is real. Your first couple of days, you might be a zombie by mid-afternoon. What to do instead? Prioritize quality over quantity. Trim your itinerary to focus on a few key places and spend more time in each. Instead of 6 countries in 2 weeks, consider 2 or 3 countries or just a couple of regions. Schedule some buffer time every few days, maybe a free day with nothing planned or just light activities, which you can use to rest or explore spontaneously. Always allow some extra time for transit. If a train ride is 4 hours, don't assume you can have a full itinerary that same day. Travel can be tiring. By pacing yourself, you'll enjoy the trip more and create better memories. Mistake 7. Forgetting travel insurance and health prep. Travel insurance isn't exactly exciting to think about until you're stuck in a foreign hospital or your luggage decides to vacation without you. Then it becomes the star of the show. Many first-time travelers skip insurance thinking, what could go wrong? Answer, plenty. From flight cancellations to a sudden illness, if you're not insured, you could be out thousands of dollars or worse. Stranded. Travel insurance covers those uh-oh moments that can happen on a trip cancellations, lost baggage, medical emergencies, etc. Americans traveling abroad especially need to consider medical coverage because your U.S. health insurance, including Medicare, typically does not cover you overseas. If you break a leg hiking in Switzerland or get severe food poisoning in Spain, you could be facing large medical bills out of pocket. Worst case, emergency medical evacuation like an air ambulance back home, can cost over $100,000, a life-ruining bill if you don't have coverage. It's a gamble that can seriously derail your trip and finances. What to do instead? Buy travel insurance for international trips, period. It's generally affordable relative to your trip cost. A basic policy might be 4 to 8% of the trip cost and gives huge peace of mind. You can get a comprehensive policy that covers trip cancellation in case you need to cancel due to illness or other covered reasons, baggage, loss, cheap, delay, and most importantly, medical and emergency evacuation. If you're more of an adventurer, make sure the policy covers those activities. Another tip, check your credit card benefits. Some credit cards automatically provide travel insurance or medical coverage if you purchase the trip with the card. As the saying goes, better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Mistake 8, transport troubles not learning the transit system. Most countries have varying types and methods of getting around. A big mistake is not doing a bit of homework on how you'll get around once you're there. Getting from point A to B in a foreign country can be tricky if you assume it's just like home. Each country's transit has quirks. For instance, many cities like Paris, Berlin, or Madrid have tickets that you must validate, stamp, in a machine. Renting a car. In many countries, manual transmission is the norm. Automatics are rarer and more expensive. If you can't drive stick, you need to specifically reserve an automatic. Also, some countries require an International Driving Permit (IDP). Without it, you could get ticketed, or the rental company might refuse you. And don't forget differences like road laws or, yes, driving on the other side of the road. Even within cities, not knowing the public transit pass options can cost you. If you plan to taxi or rideshare everywhere without checking alternatives, you might blow your budget fast, or in some places struggle to find a ride. Not all cities have Uber, for instance. What to do instead? Research local transport for each destination. A quick Google search can reveal if you should get a Metro card, how taxi culture works, or if there are common scams, like overcharging tourists. Make it a habit to validate your ticket when required. Observe other passengers, or ask if you're unsure. Also, familiarize yourself with road signs and local driving laws. For trains between countries, check if you need seat reservations in advance. Some high-speed trains require them. A little transit savvy will save you money, time, and embarrassing moments on your trip. Mistake 9, not checking local holidays or schedules. Each country has its own rhythm. Commonly, a lot of Europe treats Sunday as a rest day. Many shops, supermarkets, and even restaurants might be closed or have limited hours on Sundays, especially outside big tourist zones. Similarly, museums often have a weekly close day. For example, many major museums are closed on Monday or Tuesday. There are also public holidays and local festivals where everything can close up. Or conversely, big crowds and events might disrupt services. If you're not aware and you schedule something important on those days, you'll be frustrated. Also, things like siesta time. In countries like Spain or Italy, smaller stores might close for a long lunch afternoon break every day, usually in the early afternoon, and reopen in the evening. If you try to run errands at 2 p.m., you might find doors locked. Another schedule quirk. European dining times. In Spain, for instance, locals eat dinner at 9 to 10 p.m. Show up at a restaurant at 5 p.m., and it might not even be open yet for dinner. What to do instead? Do a quick calendar check for each destination. If you'll be in a city on a Sunday, plan that day around things that are open rather than shopping. Look up the official website of the major attractions you plan to visit and note their closing days. For restaurants, consider making reservations for popular places and note local meal times. As for daily rhythm, ask locals or your hotel about typical closing times or siesta, if applicable. Keep flexibility in your plan. If you find out there's a cool festival or market on a certain day, you can shuffle things around to attend. Mistake 10. Being easy prey, forgetting safety and scam basics. Let's discuss safety. While Europe is generally safe, being careless, like leaving your wallet in your back pocket or your phone on a cafe table, can attract thieves. First-time tourists often become so caught up in the sights that they neglect basic caution, making themselves prime targets for pickpockets and scams. Losing your passport isn't the souvenir you want. The risk comes from being overly relaxed on vacation. High-traffic tourist areas, such as popular landmarks and crowded metros, are hotspots for skilled pickpockets who often strike without being felt. Even experienced travelers have close calls. Losing important items can lead to an exhausting experience at the embassy and disrupt your trip. Be aware of various scams, too, like friendly strangers offering free items and then demanding money. Fake surveys designed to distract you from theft, or overcharging taxi drivers. Americans, often friendly and unfamiliar with these tricks, are particularly vulnerable. Also, know local emergency numbers like Europe's 112 and avoid inadvertently breaking laws. What to do instead? Remain vigilant without being overly anxious. Use a money belt for your passport and cards, and keep a photocopy of your passport at your hotel. In crowded situations, carry your backpack in front of you and be cautious of overly friendly strangers. Use official taxis or ride shares and avoid displaying large amounts of cash. Research common scams in your destination online. Memorize local emergency numbers and consider using the U.S. State Department's STEP program to receive safety alerts. The aim is not to live in fear, but to be smart. With these precautions, you're likely to enjoy your trip and return home with great memories. If you found these tips helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more travel guides and fun adventures. Have you learned any travel lessons the hard way? Or do you have your own newbie mistake story? We've all got one. Share it in the comments. We'd love to hear, and others could learn from it too. Until next time, travel safe, travel smart, and enjoy every moment of the journey. Thanks for watching.